Hello students, now today we will see about what is meant by stress strain diagram for mild steel. Now if you see with the stress strain diagram of your mild steel, now before going to start with our stress strain diagram, first you have to know the steel. Steel आपको तो पता है कि like in most of the constructions we use steel, but steel has been divided basically if you see it has been divided into two types. First one we called as your mild steel only. First one is your mild steel, second one is your HYSD bar. First one is your mild steel, second one is your HYSD bar. Mild steel is nothing but we call it as Fe250. Why? Because we have grades of your steels. If you see grades of your steels, we have Fe250, Fe415 and Fe500. So we have three basic steel grades. If you see, we have Fe250, Fe415 and Fe500. So Fe250 we called as mild steel, Fe415 and Fe500. Fe415 and Fe500 are known as HYSD bar. HYSD is high yield strength deformed bars. Now let us go with our stress strain diagram for our mild steel. Now if you see with the diagram of your stress and strain, in your y-axis and in your x-axis. In your x-axis you will have your strain. In your y-axis you will be having your stress. You will be having your stress. So in your x-axis you will be having your strain. In your y-axis you will be having your stress. Now what happens when you apply a force on your steel bar? Now let us take, fine, if you have a steel bar, a circular bar here I have given you. If this is my circular bar, if you see, fine, whenever you apply a force, whenever you apply a tensile force, whenever you try to pull it, what happens? It tries to elongate. Yes or no? So there is some stress and there is some strain. Fine. So that stress and strain diagram we have to draw. Now if you see here, whenever you apply a force, what happens? It slowly it has its straight line. Fine, the curve has its straight line, which means that stress is also going to increase and strain is also going to increase till point A. So we have OA. Now here if you see, we have few of the notations we have. First one you can take it as proportionality limit. We have proportionality limit. Second one, if you see, we have elastic limit. I'll explain you what is this. Third one is your upper yielding point. Fourth one is your lower yielding point. Fifth one is your ultimate stress. And last one is your breaking. Point. Now let us see what are these values. First one is your proportionality limit, which means that when you apply a force, what happens? Your stress is going to increase and even your strain is going to increase. So OA is your proportionality limit, which tells that when you apply a force till point A and when you try to release it, it comes back to its original position. Yes or no? Which means that still it is in our elastic limit. Sorry, it is not plastic. It is in our elastic limit. Fine. But further, if you increase the load, so slowly it tries to go beyond your point A. It goes till your point B. So when it goes till your point B, we call this as your AB as our elastic limit. Point B is our elastic limit. What is meant by elastic limit? Elastic limit follows Hooke's law. What is meant by Hooke's law now? Hooke's law states that your stress is directly proportional to strain. Stress is directly proportional to strain, but till where? Till elastic limit only. But if beyond elastic limit if you go, it is not going to follow your Hooke's law. Means I can tell that from O to B is our elastic region. But what happens? Still if I further go and increase my load, it still increases slowly like this and suddenly it falls down. So this is my C and this is my point D. So if you see with your point C, we call it as upper yielding point. Point D I call it as lower yielding point. What happens after B also, if you apply a load, till point C it is going to increase, but suddenly again it is going to decrease till point D. So C is known as upper yielding point and D is known as my lower yielding point, and then slowly tries to continue with its strain, and suddenly a big graph comes and it ends somewhere here. So what happens here, if you see, I can write as E. So E, if you talk, E is your ultimate stress. Here I think I have given you, yes. Here if you see, E is my ultimate stress, and if you increase further, F, this is your F we even call it as a fracture, which is nothing but it has failed now. Fine, the specimen has broken into two pieces, so that is the reason you can call it as fracture, or F is nothing but a breaking point. From now, if you see with this one, so from O to A, this region we call it as elastic region, but from B to F, if you take this complete one, we call it as a plastic region. Even we call our point E as your strain hardening, and similarly point F we call it as necking. What is by this necking and strain hardening? I just wanted to draw with the diagram, and I just wanted to show, if this is my first phase where I have to apply my loading, if this is my bar, if I have, and if you apply your force, I have applied my force P. Yes, when you apply your force P, what happens after certain point B till point B, fine. Even if you release your load, it tries to come back. Even if you release your P load, it tries to come back. But if you go beyond your point C, when you come with your C, D and E point, if you see, which is nothing but strain hardening, what happens when you try to still apply your force, this bar it slowly try to change in its dimension. So this is our now when you apply your force, when you have applied your force P, when you have applied it, so it has changed in its dimension, so strain hardening has occurred, which means that there is a change in its dimension. But still, when you further and when you continue with your loading, and when it comes and falls with your F point, so it breaks like this. If this is your diagram, it fails like this. So this is in shape of your cup and cone. So it is going to fail in a shape of your cup and cone. So this is your complete diagram of your mild steel, stress strain diagram for your mild steel. Thank you.